something weird about me and my girlfriend, posted by Tumurians. I found out about this Reddit today, read a few great posts, and I knew exactly what I had to share. I met my girlfriend on a dating app about 7 years ago. I thought she was really pretty, and I noticed she had a small mole above the right cheek, just like I do. We started chatting and found out we have the exact same last name. Well, I know that's not unusual, but we're born in different countries, even continents. We then started dating and getting to know each other better. And we found out that we got the last name from our fathers, and both our mothers also share the exact same last name. Weird, right? But the weirdest part is that, and it happens quite often, we say exactly what the other is thinking. For example, when she starts to tell a story with very little context, I know immediately what she's going to say. It freaks us out a little how similar we think and how often it happens. Experienced a car crash this morning that didn't actually happen. Posted by Alex Sang That. So I don't really know how to explain this, or if it even fits on this sub, or even what actually happened, if I'm being honest. But regardless, I will try to relay the story. I was driving to work this morning, and I'm coming up a side street that connects to a very busy road in my area. It's the main road that stretches through like 20 towns. I get to the red light at this main road and sit there for about 15 seconds before seeing a car pull up behind me. As the car comes to a complete stop behind me, my eyes drift from the rearview mirror to the stoplight in front of me. It was red still. I then look down to my radio clock and it says 7:36. And this is going to sound strange, but for a period of time that seemed to stretch on until infinity, I kind of felt like this intense pressure all around me. Like I was zoned out and couldn't clear my head or move my body because I was obsessed with the numbers I was seeing. Like I was in a trance or something. And it wasn't silent around me, but it was at the same time. Like very, very loud pressing silence. I couldn't move, but I also wasn't trying to move. Almost like I was paralyzed with fear and knew I was frozen, but couldn't really process it or try to move. I don't know. I really can't explain it. Even now it's so confusing for me. After who knows how long of being stuck in this trance, suddenly everything snaps back to normal. Instantly? The very first thing I register is that the person behind me is laying on their horn. I look up and see the light is green. I begin to drive forward, feeling completely 100% normal again. And once I get into the middle of the intersection, I sense this large presence to the right, left of me. I turned my head to look out my driver's side window just in time to see a huge truck coming right at me. It hits me, and I could feel my body break. I felt and heard so many of my bones get absolutely crushed. Suddenly, I'm upside down in my car, in so much pain I can hardly breathe, covered in glass, and I can hear someone screaming. The last thing I remember before I passed out, about 10 seconds later, was seeing cop lights and distinctly thinking to myself, wow, how did they get here so fast? This is important. The next thing I remember, I open my eyes and I'm sitting in my car at the red light. The intense pain I felt a moment ago is fading fast, but it's still there. Only almost like a ghost version of itself. If that makes any sense? I'm intensely confused at this point, and I start looking around in a panicky way, and my eyes trail across the clock again. It says 7:36. And I'm beyond confused. I know it wasn't a daydream. It was so goddamn real. I'm frozen in place, staring at the clock, trying to figure out what the fuck just happened. After about 5 to 10 seconds, I hear the person behind me start to beep at me, and I'm shaken. And I'm about to cry and so overwhelmed with leftover fear that I can't even react to it. They start to lay on their horn, and I still can't move because I'm just so confused and frightened. Now at this point, I was starting to calm myself down and trying to rationalize what happened. I was beginning to convince myself that it had to have just been a daydream. It was early enough, and I was tired enough that I even started to think I just nodded off at the red light and dreamed the crash. What the hell else could have happened, right? If it weren't for what happened next, I probably would have been able to go the rest of my life believing I had fallen asleep and dreamed it. The moment the clock turned 7:37, like the very second the numbers changed, a huge truck comes barreling through the light, definitely speeding. They ran their red light and crossed right in front of my car. A few seconds later, a cop, who must have just been driving behind the truck in the first place, runs the red light as well, turning on his lights in the process and beginning to pursue the speeding truck. They both drove out of my view within a few seconds. I was so shaken. I just pulled my car to the side of the road right where I was and sat there in silence for I don't even know how long. Like, what normal explanation could I possibly come up with for this? There isn't one. I hadn't seen the truck or the cop car before they ran the light in front of me. So how did the dream crash I had include those very specific and very real details? The entire area I live in is covered in trees, so it's not like I can see very far down the road in either direction. I know for a fact I did not see the truck or the cop car before I experienced the crash. I'm still so shaken. How do I rationalize this experience to myself? I feel disillusioned by something, but I don't even know what. I feel like I'm going crazy. I needed to share this with people who won't automatically dismiss this as a hallucination or a dream. Edit. I've been getting messages asking permission to use this story on your own pages, and you can all feel free. If you quote or discuss my exact posting here, I only ask that you credit this profile. Also, please send me a link to whatever you've posted it in just so I can read, listen to, and watch it. Saw my brother in the guest room and in the kitchen. Posted by Johnny Tops. This happened about 4 years ago when I was back home in Nepal. We live in a 5-story home, guest room on the 2nd floor and kitchen on the 5th floor. One day, I was outside in my locality, and my mom called me to dinner and asked to call my brother as well, who went to my friend's shop. I went to the shop, but my friend told me that he had already left, so I went home. As I was walking up the stairs, I checked the guest room because lights were on and my brother was sitting there on the sofa reading a magazine. I told him Mom's calling us for dinner. He just nodded, gave me a thumbs up like saying, "Okay, I'll be there." I walked up to the kitchen and I saw him in the kitchen eating dinner. I asked him, when did he come? He told me about 15 minutes ago. I ran back to the guest room, but there was no one there and lights were off. I told my mom what happened and she thought I was out of my mind. This all seemed really paranormal.